Greetings, people of the galaxy. I am Zach, and I'm back again for another tier list video. Today we're going to be ranking all the major Star Wars villains from the movies, Clone Wars, Rebels, and The Mandalorian. Without further ado, let's get started. So there are 5 categories here. There's legendary for the best of the best, good for the ones that are just a step below that. There's average, and then there's we need to be going up, not down for the below average ones, and then finally bantha fodder for the worst of the worst. Let's do this. So Boba Fett, I think, is an interesting case because his reputation and how marketable he is would suggest legendary. He's one of the most iconic villains in Star Wars. But as a character himself, there's not much there, at least until The Mandalorian, and he's not really a villain in The Mandalorian. So I'm going to split the difference between average, which is what I think he is as a character, and legendary, which I think he is as a brand, and I'm going to put him in good. And I think that's the perfect place for him. Dryden Boss, I'm going to put him in... average. I think he was a fascinating crime lord in Solo, but really nothing special about him. He's a true average villain. Very much like Solo itself. Nothing to write home about. He's just okay. Moff Gideon, I'm going to put an average as well. We haven't seen a ton of him yet. He's only been in a few episodes of The Mandalorian. I have mostly liked what I've seen from him, so he definitely has potential to improve, but for now he's going to sit in average next to Dryden Boss. The Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor, I should say. I actually really like him, so this might be a little controversial, but I'm going to put him in good. I love his voice. I love his fighting style, and every time he showed up in Rebels, I felt that he elevated everything about the show. He raised the stakes, and he just made it more exciting. Some of the episodes without him were a lot of filler episodes, so I always loved seeing him in that first season, and fortunately he died, but maybe we'll see him again in Fallen Order 2 or something. General Grievous, again, this is going to be a little controversial, but I think as a villain, he's not that good, and I don't think he was ever meant to be. He gets beat all the time, he runs away all the time. He's very much a mustache twirling villain, and if we were talking about Legends Grievous, this would be a different story, but I think Canon Grievous belongs in average, though I do like him still for what he is. Newt Gunray is going to go in we need to be going up, not down, because he is kind of just a lame villain who gets manipulated by Darth Sidious, and that's really all the point of his character is. Not much to say about him, but I'm going to put him in there. See, we've got General Hux. I think he's absolute bantha fodder. He had potential after The Force Awakens, as so many characters from that movie did, but The Last Jedi decided to completely turn him into a joke, and that is what he remained for the final 2 movies of that trilogy. And it's unfortunate, but he's not the only character that happened to. Jabba the Hutt, I'm going to put in average because he's never been like the big bad of anything he's been in. He's either just a small character or he's like a secondary villain like he is in Return of the Jedi. You could even say he's like the third villain in Return of the Jedi, behind Palpatine and Vader. But yeah, he's fine. Definitely iconic, but I wouldn't say as iconic as Boba Fett, so he'll stay in good. Probably at like the front though. I don't know if I want to organize this. I'll probably go like that, something like that. Okay, Jango Fett, I'm gonna put him in average. I'll put him like right there. We had limited time with Jango Fett, but he was really cool. He gave Obi-Wan a run for his money, and Tamora Morrison was fantastic as him. So he's going to be in the upper part of average, but really not much of a character arc because he was only in like half the movie of Attack of the Clones. But I did enjoy him. Nothing bad to say about Jango Fett, really. Agent Kallus, I'm going to put him in average as well. The thing I like most about Kallus is when he kind of gets the mindset of, I don't want to be on the Empire anymore, I'm going to help the rebels. As a villain, he's fairly one note. Though I did love the episode where he and Zeb are stranded on the ice planet together, which is what starts this lack of faith in the Empire that he ends up experiencing. So I do like Kallus, I just don't really love him, so I think he's going to live in average. Krennic, I think, is underrated. I'm going to put him in good because I think he exemplifies everything Ron with the Imperial officer in a entertaining way. He's got flair, he's got style, he gets angry, he has iconic quotes, and I hope we get to see him again in maybe the Cassian show. But I do love me some Krennic. I'm probably gonna put him in front of the Inquisitor. Kylo Ren is a tough one. I'm debating whether to put him in good or average, because he was the best part of the sequels, but that's not saying much. But I will be nice and I'll put him at the low end of good. I just really don't like how his character was kind of a wannabe Vader, and then in The Last Jedi, all of a sudden it's about killing the past, but then he's back to being a wannabe Vader in the next movie. It's just, Count Dooku, I'm gonna put in good. I've just always liked Dooku's style, both the way he handles himself and also his lightsaber style. It's just so classy and gentlemanly, and it's fun to watch. I do enjoy his rivalry with Anakin. I do think he was fairly one note in the Clone Wars, just kind of very villainous. I wish he was more gray, like how Attack of the Clones was kind of setting him up to be. But I still enjoyed him in the Clone Wars. I always liked seeing him show up. Maul is going to be the first legendary character because Clone Wars took what was just a cool, menacing villain from the Phantom Menace and really turned him into a compelling character. And I love Maul. Like, if you had asked me if Maul should have come back like 10 years ago, I would have told you no. I thought it was ridiculous when they brought him back, but they proved me wrong. He is a fantastic character, and really a tragic one too. Sheev, the Senate. He's going to go in Legendary too, because without him, all of these events of Star Wars would not have been possible. His grand plan, absolutely brilliant. He's quotable, and he's a blast to watch, especially in Episode 3, where Ian McDiarmid just really lets loose. And what can you say? It's Palpatine. He's the man. Phasma, Balloons and Bantha fodder. Probably got wasted even more than Hux. Like, at least you got to see Hux's face. Gwendolyn Christie got screwed in this role. She's a fantastic actress, and she deserved better. Asajj Ventress, I'm going to put him in the low end of average, probably like right there. Fairly one-note character, dependent on Maul for a lot of actions, really. And but he was cool, great voice. Snoke, Bantha fodder, complete waste of a character. Compelling character. I remember how excited and thrilled and curious about Snoke people were before The Last Jedi, and then they just threw all that speculation and excitement away. Yeah, I remember. Tarkin is going to be in good, probably at like the upper end of good, because he's probably my favorite Imperial officer. Definitely the best Moff, and he's just a cold son of a gun. Blows up an entire planet. I mean, none of these other guys do that. Thrawn is going in Legendary. I know that if you just take from what's canon, he probably doesn't belong in Legendary, but I do think Thrawn is one of the best Star Wars villains, and he earned that reputation even before he appeared on screen, which is impressive, and I think just speaks to his legacy as a villain. So he's going to be in the Legendary category, and yeah, I just love Thrawn. I love his voice. I love his tactical mind, and it's a sleek white uniform, is it not? I'm going to save that one for last. Asajj Ventress, I'm going to put her in good. Right next to her Master Dooku. I really like what the Clone Wars did with her, and then I wish we got to see the payoff on screen, but unfortunately they reserved that for the book because the Clone Wars got canceled. But Dark Disciple, the book that she stars in, very good, probably my favorite canon novel, and that's kind of the conclusion of Asajj Ventress's arc and character, and I thought it was done really well and humanizes her more. And it's unfortunate that not a lot of people have read that book, but I definitely recommend it. Previzula, I'm going to put him in average, probably right before Jango. Really cool Mandalorian. Jon Favreau voices him. He wields the Darksaber, ultimately loses a fight with Maul, but yeah, he's definitely a memorable character. And the greatest villain in Star Wars history and potentially the entire world, Darth Vader, is going at the top of the Legendary category. What do I really need to say about Darth Vader that hasn't been said before? He's the best. We all know this. He's iconic and a genuinely great character. Darth Vader, love him. My favorite character in anything ever. He's got the look, he's got the voice, he's got all the iconic lines. I could just go on and on. So I'm going to save you all time and just end it there. But let me know what you think about my rankings down in the comment section below. You can also try this yourself if you go to tiermaker.com and just type in Star Wars villains. There's even more than this with like more villains, but I just really wanted to do the major ones. So leave a like, subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching, folks. I'm Zach, and I'll see you in the future.